Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So today we're going to be talking about mental health and the fact that it does not exist. I went and found this document on the CCHR. I also found a doctor named Dr. Thomas Azad. And after talking to numerous mental health officiates and asking them questions about mental health, they all answered no, that there is no test, that it is only through what I see, not me, but what the doctor sees, that it diagnoses the DSM. The CCHR, this is the International Watchdog, says there is no test existence that can prove mental health disorders or mental conditions. Psychiatric disorders is based solely on opinion. There is no mental illness test. Psychiatric pharmaceutical industry spending billions of dollars a year in order to convince the public legislators and the press that psychiatric disorders such as bipolar, depression, attention deficit disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, schizophrenia, or medical diagnosis on par with verifiable conditions as cancer. Remember, there's no objective test that can actually show, such as like heart disease. And there's, despite decades of trying to prove mental health disorders, the biological conditions due to chemical imbalances or genetic factors, psychiatric have failed to actually prove this. So they actually have not proven this. I actually have talked with doctors, and doctors said, I don't think you qualify for mental health. But what do you mean? I have had a history of mental health for years, right? And you're telling me now I do not qualify to be in mental health because I'm asking intelligent questions. I was diagnosed as autistic, but a high-functioning autistic. I don't think that's correct, because if I'm autistic, that just means I have a lot of metal that I've been eating, meaning that the high metals in foods and other things, and there's a way to actually flush those from your system. It's like people who say they are schizophrenic. Well, there's been there was a 15-year test done that shows that the factors involving an outcome in recovering schizophrenia patients not on antipsychotic medications. This is a 15-year study. This is 15 years of work from doctors and actually intelligent people. They actually have proven as well the brain scans to be false. They tried to falsify brain scans and pawn it off as mental health. There has been the Force Task Chairman in 2015 who stated mental illness is a terrible misleading because the mental health disorder we are diagnosing are no more than descriptions of what clinics observe people doing or saying, not at all well established diseases. A statement by Alan Francis, a psychiatrist and former DSM task manager force chairman in 2015. So this is coming from the DSM chairman, force enforcer. And the psychiatrist and former DSM-4 task chairman Alan Francis had this to say: there are no objective there are no objective tests in psychiatry, no labor or examine that finds findings that say definitely that someone has or does not have mental disorder. So there's actually no test, diagnosis, x-ray, or laboratory test that could be done to show that they have a mental disorder. There is no definition of mental disorder. It is bull. I mean, you can't just define it. Alan Francis, Task Force Chairman. Dr. Elliot Valentine, PD, author of Blaming the Brain. The theories that are held are not only because there is nothing else in their place, but because they are useful in promoting drug treatment. So clearly he stated there clearly that it's only for the pharmaceutical companies to make and continue to finance and make money. I mean, Peter Biggins stated brain damage will because they have shown that use of psychiatric medication can cause atrophy, that's the shrinkage of the brain, and this actually causes brain damage, and it can be a permanent brain damage. Peter Biggins had this to say, who's a psychiatrist: brain damage with long-term use, yet there is no evidence that mental health or such as ADHD exists. Well, I want to touch on ADHD because I was originally diagnosed with ADHD. Well, ADHD, I think, is meaning I'm eating too much of something that is causing me to have energy surges, like too much sugar in my diet, which is causing me to be jittery. It's like drinking 16 cups of coffee in one day. You're going to be, that's I gave my kid a little sugar just to see what it would do to the child. And she started getting jittery, and then she crashed. But it goes to show that sugar can affect the brain just as much as putting a pharmaceutical medication in your brain. Again, I can't reiterate this enough. There is no mental health. All these people in the hospital, all these people who are claiming they have mental health have been lied to, physically lied to, and poisoned and brainwashed to believe that something's wrong with them. Nothing is wrong with you. The thing is, you were fine until the medication. You were fine until you were given medication, which is fucking your brain and messing your brain up. There is no mental health whatsoever. They can't prove it in any form or shape. What these pharmaceutical companies are doing is purely for money, and purely for profit, obviously. These doctors and pharmaceutical companies like NAMI and, Putnam Clubhouse and all these other mental health facilities are fronts. They're frauds. They're all frauds. All of them. And, this stuff has to stop. The real stigma isn't the fact that people are saying that there's a stigma. That the real stigma isn't the people who have mental health who are abusing them, who are stigmatizing it. It's the ones who are actually promoting the stigmatism itself. So when you are promoting a stigmatism, you are literally saying, "Hey, look at him. He's a fucking walking billboard, basically." And so I went to the Putnam Clubhouse here in California, in Concord, and this is like a mental health facility. Come to find out that it's not registered as mental health, only in some aspects. In other aspects, it's registered as a health and exercise. So what is it? Come to find out that the owners of those aren't who they really say they are. Their names are different. They've changed their names multiple times through the years and have claimed multiple lands, multiple properties because of the wealth that they've accumulated through their fraud. And front groups like this should be shut down, but it's hard to shut friend groups down by yourself. Now, if we get enough people who watch this video, maybe we can make a difference. But until then, we won't make a difference with any type of mental health. And the abuse is just going to continue to get worse in hospitals because of this COVID stuff. It's going to get worse in jails. It's going to get worse in emergency rooms. I mean, I'm talking like emergency rooms where you go in and if you have a mental health situation. So, I actually convinced the dumb bastards of the DA's office to actually do mental health, quote. And so I'm gonna bring in some people and have some fun. Because if you really know the system and know how to work it, you can actually really work it really good. But see, mental health doesn't exist, and the fact that they manipulate it and are putting people in hospitals and poisoning people is ridiculous. So I have proceeded to file a civil litigation against the mental health here in California, as well as several other agencies, and also the courts who are calling people crazy or insane at the time of the crime. They were insane at the time of the crime. You weren't insane at the time of the crime. You were perfectly sane. You planned and plotted to go and kill a person. Plain and obvious. These people should not be getting away and being put in the hospital, doing the Thorazine shuffle, and then getting out in a couple years and doing the same thing possibly. It's not really hard to manipulate somebody. Anybody can do it. We do it all the time in our everyday lives through influence and stuff. Same thing with these pharmaceutical companies. They are influencing the politics in our state for mental health in California. Well, not just California, but all over the place. And these individuals are poisoning and killing youth. I recently just got on an entertainment company because they put a Satanist, well, it was a pentagram, but not all pentagrams are Satanist. But in this form, it was a form of Satanism because she was dressed as a child, obviously that's child sacrifice, but you have to remember there's different types of sacrifice. They're sacrificing your mind, they're sacrificing the physical person, finances, job security, home security, family. There's a whole bunch of different things that are sacrificed. In this form, with this entertainment company, they decided that they wanted to sacrifice his children innocent and open them up clearly to Satanism. See, this is what we have to realize. This is what we're being fed, and the bullshit we're being fed. This goes farther than people think, because once a pharmaceutical medicine causes injury to a person, it's actually supposed to be automatically recalled. It's supposed to be recalled. As soon as injury occurs, it's supposed to be recalled. How many people is it going to take for that medication to actually be recalled and those people to be continued injured in a lawsuit? And it would be easier if they just corrected the issue rather than having to litigate the fucking issue. But again, because pharmaceutical companies want to be cheapskates, of course that's not going to happen. But that's honestly how it should have been done a long time ago. They should have recalled a bunch of the medication, which basically is all of it, and recall it until it is actually safe for individuals' use. Because obviously it's causing brain atrophy, people are dying from it, people are ODing from it, people are committing suicide from it, people are killing people over it and becoming almost prehistoric caveman-like. The madness has to end eventually, and it's just a matter of time until the last domino falls, and then people are gonna see what's gonna happen, all those mental health people, all those people diagnosed with mental health, you're going to end up in hospitals, and then you might end up in a military base being a test subject. There's actually laws that are in place. So if you want to go ahead and continue choosing to be mental health, please, by all means, be mental health. But just know that if you live in places like Virginia or Florida or even California, that these places, because California has a lot of hospitals, they hospitalize a lot of people. I mean, they're just making, in California, it's just you're either mental health or you're a criminal. And if you're not, you're a 1%er. You're rich. So, I don't think that anything's going to change anytime soon, but that's how we should honestly approach mental health. First off, there is no mental health. Second off, why are you giving medication to our youth and diagnosing them as mental health people, having mental health people, even clinical technicians who are not even authorized to do so? They just write something down and then put it into the book. Like in Contra Costa County, there's this heavy hitter. Her name is Michelle. I haven't got her last name though, but I will. But she is a danger to mental health. She is an evil. She's one of those Dr. Mengele type people. She avoided me at all cost. But that's just because I knew my rights. See, in Contra Costa County, they do multiple things to try to get you to submit. They will put you in a room separate from anybody. Actually, that was a tactic that was used. I was watching something to cause distress towards an individual. In the jail, they don't even, in that room, in particular room, this is in Mary Module. Mary Module it was both a mental health and a medical module, but they automatically, if you don't answer any of the questions, they diagnose you as mental health, which is absolutely incorrect. Just because I'm refusing to answer questions doesn't make me have any mental disability. That is completely 100% incorrect. Then they ask you, do you want to talk to a mental health clinician? Do I look like I want to talk to a mental health clinician? When you go into jail, you don't have to give your information. You are protected under the Privacy Act. I was watching a video, I think they were in Metropolitan Hospital, and the cop actually said that the guy said 5 USC 522A privacy, which is the Privacy Act, which was the revised 1974 Privacy Act. That was the revision of it. This actually stated that an individual, he stated that I am not subject to 552A, and he said, yes, you're correct. I commented, and he commented back on it, and I said, you got him, right? And he said, yeah, I didn't want to argue, because obviously that's the smart play, is not to argue with the officer, walk away, then go and make your complaint later. It's like people who argue with when they're driving. Well, I don't have to drive. Give me my ticket. I'll be on my way. We're going to have a lot of fun. He literally has him on film saying that I can't record it in a place. Well, not me, but the guy, because he's trying to protect the patient. Well, if that doesn't apply to me, then I don't have to apply by that law. So it's like if you don't know a law, if a law is not written, it is not applicable. If you can't see the law in physical writing, it is not applicable. So I highly believe that these cops have overstepped their boundaries, just like the pharmaceuticals have overstepped their boundaries. And that the only way for change to happen is to actually have the people and have enough people try to make change. Now, Some of the information I'm going to put down below. I'm going to put some videos from Thomas Cazard. I also recommend reading Quackery Squared by Thomas Cazard and Dr. Diana. I don't remember her last name because she was from another country, but she wrote Manufacturing Victims. And I highly recommend those two books. These two books will open your mind very much to psychiatric abuse of patients, of people, of the world in general. And I believe that individuals should be more open to ideas, but because money is so tight and people are so tight-fisted that anything that doesn't make them money won't change. Because if it doesn't make the politicians money, it's not gonna be changed. And this makes an impossible task. But there has been laws that have been passed through the people. Now, remember, none of these laws that are passed actually apply, but it's nice to think so, right? So this has been the video on mental health. This is what is really going on, that we honestly do not have mental health. There's no mental health. Mental health is all in your head. Literally, it's all in your head. It's what they observe, not from what they can actually objectively prove. Like I said, the reason I did the mental health court as well is because you can actually challenge. If you're in a criminal proceeding, you can challenge it. If you're not, I recommend doing a civil proceeding and looking up that. Mental health does not exist. CCHR, International Watchdogs. I'll put the link down below and above. Enjoy, watch, comment, share, like. Thank you for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful, blessed day, and take care.